All right, Van, hey, welcome to Win Today podcast. We appreciate you coming on, man.
I'm honored to be here, and I'm honored to be with you.
I appreciate it. So we met for the first time a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago,
Yep.
and I had such a good conversation during our coffee that I'm like, I gotta get Van into my podcast because so many people would get so much out of you, man. I'm really excited about this conversation.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and I got a chance to look through your website and follow up on you, and I'm super excited to be with you for one, but I'm really excited about all that you're doing and all your achievements and the great group of people you put together. That's pretty cool.
I appreciate that. I'll pay you later for saying that to my audience. So, hey, let's get right to it. We've got so much going on. I really want to thank you for your time. First of all,
thank you
for being here because I know your time is valuable. So, let's go from the beginning, Van. I want to hear about you, how you got to where you're at. Tell me about the beginning. Intrigued.
Wow. So I'll try to give you the real brief summary.
Sure.
I was your non-conforming kid.
Okay.
I was rebellious, just kind of blazed my own trail, youngest of 5 kids, way younger. I think they call that a mistake. But I just knew that I wanted to be in something that I could be successful at, and I grew up in Omaha, and then I moved to Dallas, Texas in 1983. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I started going to real estate school, and I got my license, and before I know it, I become addicted to real estate at 23 years old. And, they say when you get in a sales position, like real estate, you're supposed to call everybody you know in your sphere of influence and say, to try to get people to rally behind you. Well, I knew no one.
Oh, sure.
So I had to organically create clients. And I want to tell you, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. It was not having any help. And I had no money and I had no contacts. And that's not a good combination. So I worked extremely hard. I believe in discipline. I believe if you create a discipline, it'll become a habit and then it'll become natural. Well, working hard became natural for me. And so I went from not knowing anybody to walking into stores and to restaurants and people saying, hey, that's the real estate guy.
Wow.
I mean, I was on billboards. I was in movie theaters. I mean, I marketed after a while. I really marketed myself a lot. So,
in Dallas?
Yeah, in Dallas, Texas. Okay. And then moving forward, I was there 10 years, and in 1993, I came back to Omaha for family reasons. And I was just going to chill out, and I had experienced a ton of success in Dallas in real estate, and I was going to just, do my thing and sell some real estate, and it turned into a pretty big operation. I started out of my basement. I started my company, and within 16 years, we had 350 people.
Wow.
And recognized as the largest independent real estate firm in the Midwest.
Wow. Called Deeb Realty.
Called Deeb Realty. And then in 2009, I had the best general manager on the planet, and Andy Alloway. Just absolutely. A super, super great person.
Absolutely.
And I had the best staff. And Andy came into me one day and said, I want to own my own company. And I'm like, okay. And about 7-8 hours later, I called him. I said, you want to own this one? And he goes, yes, I do. And the next day, we scratched it out, and he's doing unbelievable over there at Nebraska Realty now. It's my old staff, and I'm just grateful. And then I pivoted at that time, and I love to do speaking. So one of my favorite passions is to help young people get to where they want to go.
Okay.
And so I do a ton of speaking coast to coast, and I thought I might be done with real estate, but that lasted about 30 minutes. So I opened up another real estate company called Big Omaha Realty 11 years ago. The only difference is, Cyrus, is this time I am going to keep it very small because I just want to keep it fun.
Yep.
The word fun is really important
Yep.
to me.
Yep.
And I've always been blessed where I wake up every morning and I can't wait to go to work, and I want to keep it that way.
Yeah. Wow. What a journey.
Yeah, so I constantly thank the good Lord, and I'm just grateful.
Yeah.
I'm just living a life of gratitude.
That's great story. I want to go back to Dallas, Texas real quick. So why real estate? Like what made you decide I'll try real estate? Because it's commission only. You don't get a
Straight
salary
commission.
or nothing, right? And it's tough that first couple of years. So for a lot of these younger real estate agents that maybe want to get into it or in their first year, so why real estate? And what are a couple of things you did to have that success so fast? I know you mentioned you walked into every restaurant, talked to everybody. What are a couple of things maybe that?
So, Cyrus, that's a great question. So this is going to sound corny, but I run into a guy from Omaha that went to my high school.
Okay.
And I'm laying sod. I mean, I'm out there laying sod on people's yards. That was my first job in Dallas.
Okay.
I run into him, and he's driving this really cool car.
Oh.
And I said, wow, you're 24 years old. What do you do?
Uh-huh.
And he goes, I sell real estate. And I said, I want to sell real estate. And that's really how it started. And then I started telling my friends, I said, I'd like to sell real estate. And everybody was so supportive. Oh, Van, you'd be so good at selling real estate. And it got in my head, and I decided. So that's how I got started. And then Cyrus, I became addicted.
Okay.
I mean, it was like I did not want to. I mean, everywhere I went, I'm giving my card. I had the same thing with everybody. If you know anybody that wants to buy or sell a house, I'd be so grateful if you would refer me. Here's my card.
Yeah.
And, I did it organically.
Okay.
I didn't pay for lead generation.
Good for you.
I didn't, I did it organically. If the gas station attendant, I'm giving him my card.
Yep.
Dry cleaning, I'm giving him my card. Waitress at the restaurant, I'm giving him my card.
That's awesome. It's funny you say that. I walked into my father-in-law's house, and I walked in and I said, wow. I was like, what do you do for a living? He goes, I do insurance. I was like, I told my wife, I said, I am doing insurance.
Same thing.
It's exactly the same thing.
It motivates you. God created all of us equal. Mm-hmm. We all have the same ability. It's just some of us choose to use our God-given talents, and others don't.
Yep.
And there's one word I never want to be called, and that's average. I never want someone to say, oh, Van's a great guy. He's really average. I don't want to ever be labeled average, because that's not fair to anybody that depends on me and anybody that cares about me.
Absolutely.
We have the ability, and I teach it. Nebraska, Omaha, I teach in the entrepreneurship department. I have for 12 years, and I don't get paid anything, but I go 3 times a semester. I love talking to young people. And one of the biggest things that we discuss is that young people need to know it's their involvements. Yes. If you hang out with 5 people that are broke, you're going to be the 6th. Mm-hmm. If you hang out with 5 people that don't care about their future, but they care about what bar they're going to go to that night, you're going to be the 6th. Mm-hmm. If you hang out with 5 respectful people, you're going to be respectful. And so my mindset was, at a young age, I want to hang out with people that want to be successful. And success doesn't always mean making money.
Sure.
To me it does, because I like to make money. Yep. I can do a lot more in my life with money than I can without. 100%. But I'm not in love with it, but it's a pretty cool vehicle. Yep. So I really emphasize, I like being around you, Cyrus. You're a successful person. You care deeply about people.
Absolutely.
And you want people to be successful.
Absolutely.
So in my company, I didn't want to be the only happy, successful person. I want everybody that I'm around to be successful. And, so that's kind of been my mission is I want to be around like-minded people.
Yep.
So you get involved in like-minded organizations where there's people like that, networking groups that,
Yep.
you know, that are purposeful and what you want to be, you know.
That's awesome. You're an average of the 5 people you hang out with the most.
It's the
just
truth.
one of my favorite
I've heard
quotes.
that forever. I don't know who.
Yeah.
I keep trying to think of where I heard it, but there's so many great motivational speakers. Somebody
Yep.
said it.
So somebody has definitely said it. So your advice, Van. There's a lot of realtors that are gonna listen to this, right? So what is your biggest advice to a young first year realtor or somebody that's looking to get into real estate?
First of all, excuse me.
No problem.
You don't need to edit that because I'm a genuine, authentic person and I do cough. So, what the advice I do give to people that are getting into real estate is surround yourself around people that you can learn from.
Yeah.
You never want to be the smartest guy in the room.
Love that.
I still, with all of the experiences I've had and the blessed success I've had, I still don't want to be the smartest guy in the room because I can't learn that way. So I tell agents when they just get started to maybe be mentored by somebody that you admire.
Yeah.
And just because they're doing it a certain way doesn't mean you have to do it a certain way.
Absolutely.
Just learn the way people do it and figure out what fits in to your style. But it's discipline, you know, to be the best. And here's the thing. You don't have to, you know, a lot of people get into real estate and think they have to be great. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be great to get started. You just have to get started to be great.
Oh, love that.
And it's, you know, you've got to create a discipline. You can't expect your broker to come in and say, hey, Van, you better go out and be successful today. That's not this kind of business. When you're getting in straight commission business, you better be motivated.
Yeah.
And so you create that discipline. And then once again, it becomes a habit. And before you know it, it's just a natural thing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So you got to tell people. You can't keep what you do a secret.
Absolutely.
And, you know, like I'll talk to new agents. I said, have you called all your friends? Have you called your family? Yeah, they all know I'm in it. Well, it doesn't matter. You know, think of something that's valuable that has to do with real estate. Interest rates are going up. There's only 150 homes on the market today. Yep. Something that might be some interesting information, and get on the phone and call everybody. Yeah. Because what you're doing is you're letting people know I'm really into this profession. Oh, yeah. Well, we want to refer people that are really into their profession.
100%. I love that. I love that. So you do believe in, it's almost like old school is calling. So you believe in the calling instead of emailing and texting. Is what I would assume. Yeah.
I do. I'm very old fashioned, but old fashioned will blow anything away that people are doing today. I write handwritten notes. As soon as I meet somebody, I write a handwritten note. They keep it forever.
Special.
Yeah, but like if somebody says, hey, you know what? I want to communicate with you, but I do better texting or email, I'm going to honor that.
Yeah, of course.
But I want them to tell me. Yeah. You know, nobody makes phone calls anymore. Yep. And to me, when somebody calls me and they're trying to solicit something, I thank them. I go, way to go. Yeah. I congratulate. I may not buy anything from them, but I think it's cool that they're doing it.
Yep. No, 100%. That's huge. That's huge. I'm interested in how you built your business from one agent, yourself, to 350, right? Mm-hmm. So could you share maybe a couple of tips? Like, how did you go from, in that period of time, that's a small time, right? For you to grow to 350 so fast. Yeah. What was I think what I got from that one thing was that you care about people. Yeah. And you mentioned that. You're a good leader, right? So what are some things that you did to grow so fast?
So here's the way I look at it is, there's a lady, and I've been quoting this successful woman for 30 years. Her name is Mary Kay Ash. Okay. She's the proprietor and the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics. Okay. Billion, not million, $1 billion company. Wow. but she used to tell her thousands of salespeople, pretend everybody you meet has a sign around their neck that says, make me feel important. Well, to me, that's common sense. So I make everybody I meet feel like they matter, because they do matter, but somebody's got to make them feel that way. So that's one of the reasons why Deeb Realty grew so big. The other thing is, I live by the statement, if you have the ability, you have the responsibility. So I had the ability to make agents happier than any other real estate company in Omaha. And the way we did that is, I could go on, but I'll just give you a couple. One is, if somebody called off a sign, we always directed that call to the person who had the listing. They didn't do that back then. They gave it to whoever was answering phones.
Really?
The other thing that we did, I mean, there's hundreds of things we did. I mean, we actually created at Deeb Realty virtual offices.
Okay.
And back in '93, my competitors were like, "That'll never fly." Well, thank you. Yeah, it pretty much did. We had 350 people in 12 offices. Where do you think they all worked? Out of their house. And they came into the office when they needed to. But if my agent said jump, I said how high. Because think about it. Why would they be with you if you're not going to accommodate them? So I never looked at the agents work for me. I looked at it as the agents worked with me, and they knew it. And like another real important area that we blew everybody's doors away was commissions. If you sell a house, chances are you're not going to get closing commission. The program, if 30 days, 45, 60, build job, maybe 6 months. Well, a lot of companies, they'd get the commission check at closing time, and you'd end up getting paid 5 days later. At my company, and even at my company, Big Omaha Realty, at my company, if it closed at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you're getting your check by 2.
Wow.
Because we can.
Yeah.
So it was all, my motto was a company built by agents for agents.
Wow.
So here's the thing. And a lot of companies don't look at it this way. Certainly not a lot of the real estate companies in Omaha.
Sure.
Deeb Realty forced the other real estate companies in Omaha to treat their employees, to treat their agents better. We just did. Because if they didn't follow my lead, they would keep losing people in droves. So we looked at it as, we treated the agents like they're our customers. Well, how do we treat our customers? Like gold. So my philosophy is, if we treat the agent like they're our customer, we're going to bat 1,000.
Yeah.
So that's in a nutshell.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
if I decided to grow Big Omaha Realty, which I'm not, but if I did, I would have no concern whatsoever about building another big one.
So you're saying today, if you had to do it again, you would follow the same principles. Nothing would probably change from how you built.
To the T.
Wow.
I would use the exact same blueprint.
Wow.
No different.
It's worked.
Because it was the blueprint that I introduced to real estate was way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
I mean, treating people like they matter is not seasonal.
Yep.
And it's not like it has a shelf life.
Yeah. And it's not even just in real estate. It's in every industry. It's in nursing, insurance, medical, restaurants. I mean,
I'm going to back up. If I did it again, where I was going to build another big real estate firm, I would probably make it more about them than I did me. But I was the face. I was the marketing. I was the guy that was doing the commercials. I was on the billboards. If I did it again, I would probably not make it so much about me and more about, the company.
Absolutely.
But when the company has your last name on it, you pretty much, Cyrus Jaffrey, when it's got your name on the sign, you better be present.
Correct. Oh, 100%, 100%. I think that's how I built my business is my own name.
Yep.
But then what we did was we had our staff. So I want to treat the person the same way, but I want my staff to treat my clients the same way as I would. So because they're an extension of me, and the client expect the same exact way, right? I treated them like gold, like you said. Man, I love it.
Well, it's like I'll give you a testimonial.
Yeah.
I walked into your office for the first time today.
Yep.
I'm not just saying this because we're on your podcast.
Yeah.
I had 4 people in your company come up to me saying, "What can I do for you? What can I get you? Would you like anything?"
That's awesome.
That's the way, that's textbook.
Yeah.
The way that I felt when I walked into Cyrus Jaffrey office,
Wow.
I felt like I had, I felt so good because your people made me feel that way. And everybody had a smile on their face.
That's awesome.
So that's textbook.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're trying to do things a lot different than, I feel like the first time you meet somebody, your first impression is by far the biggest thing, right? So we've worked on that with our team of just making sure. Yeah, so I appreciate that. That means a lot. So that means a lot. Okay, so if you were going to, if somebody's at that 350, right? Now they want to get to 1,000. There's a lot of real estate companies in Nebraska right now. Maybe they're at 100. They want to get to 300. Maybe they're at 300. Want to get to 1,000, right? What are some suggestions from you that they could potentially do? Follow the same model? It could grow?
If they followed my model, they could add 2,000.
2,000 agents? Yeah.
I don't believe in junk fees.
Okay.
I don't believe in charging clients junk fees.
Okay.
And everybody else does.
Yeah.
So my philosophy is, if you're my client, Cyrus, I can't charge you a fee that I wouldn't pay myself.
Oh, sure.
So
Sure.
I'm that way with my agents. I don't believe in junk fees and add-on fees.
Yeah.
And Deeb Realty was the only company out there that had that philosophy. Now, Big Omaha Realty's the only company out there with that philosophy. And I can't fault them because there's a ton of money in those junk fees.
Sure.
But, I would give somebody advice that wants to grow. In order to get where you've never been, you've got to do things that you've never done.
Absolutely.
So I would, if you own the company, you can't be too big for your britches to call up 10 agents a day with other companies and say, "Hey, this is Van Deeb. I'm the broker at Big Omaha Realty. Would you give me the opportunity to show you what we can do for you here?" And that's what we did at Deeb Realty. And never the hard close. Never you're going to bug them and bug them. You tell them what you got, and then let them know we're not going to bother you because that's unusual. Usually they're going to
100%.
They're going to be calling you nonstop. Yeah. And all I ask you to do is visit with people that work with this firm.
Absolutely.
And they'll be our testimonial.
Yeah.
So my goal was to have people that were so thrilled with being part of the team that they're telling everybody about us.
Absolutely.
It's just everybody wants to be treated well. We live in a society right now where there's just a lot of negativity and hatred and all this stuff. And, being friendly to them may be the only good thing that happens to them all day.
100%.
It's like I tell people, when you're walking, don't look down.
Yeah.
And when people look at you smile, maybe the only smile that they have all day.
That's huge.
It really is.
That's huge.
And guess what's going to happen the next time? It's like clockwork. You walk by somebody and you smile, they smile back. I guarantee you, the next time you see them, you're going to say hello and you're going to start a conversation.
Absolutely.
Because they already feel like they know you.
Huge. So I love what you said, and I want to add on that because the way we answer the phones in our office is almost like my customer experience team had such a hard time with it because I said, when you answer the phone, just say, "We're having a great day at Jaffrey Insurance. How can I help you?" Right? Something like that. Like, "We're having a great day." Something positive. Yeah. And they had such a hard time of just at first, picking up the phone and somebody's
know
like,
it.
"You guys are having a great day?" Like, we're like, "Yeah, it's a great day at Jaffrey Insurance. How can I help you?" I'm like, "You call places and they're like, 'Thank you for calling. What can I do for you?' It's like almost rude." I'm like, we got to do things differently. Like, when you got to be excited about your job, and that excitement is going to carry over to the other person. You'll have a higher percentage of closing ratio.
To support what you just said 100% is there was a magazine that did an article about our company. And I'll never forget when it came out, the first paragraph was, the writer says, "When I walked in Deeb Realty to do an interview, I was greeted by the receptionist, and it's no wonder that this company's successful."
Wow.
Because I look at the people at the front desk, they're just as important as anybody.
100%.
They're
Face of your organization.
Exactly what you just said, their first impressions.
Yep.
I don't want to go somewhere where I don't feel
Absolutely.
like it's like, I'm welcomed. It's like I tell agents, don't complain around your customers. Don't be negative around them. People will do business with you. You can be an average real estate agent and not great, but you can be enjoyable to be around. Guess what? They're going to use you
100%.
because you make them feel good.
Yep.
People want to do business with people that make them feel like they matter.
100%.
And how do we make people feel like they matter? It's like when I've tried to get a hold of you, Cyrus, you get back with me immediately.
100%. Yep.
That's how we show respect.
Absolutely.
We get back with people as soon as we can.
Yep.
Like when I leave this podcast with you, my first thing I'll do is check my messages and call people back immediately.
Yep.
That's how they feel like they matter.
Absolutely.
But I think you and I, just by knowing about you and how you run your business, I think we have the same mindset.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's an honor to be in the same mind as you.
Oh, geez. Thank you. I'm just a guy that likes to work and I'm just grateful.
Well, you've done a
thank
lot
the
of
good
great
Lord
things.
every day. Even that my experiences with my Deeb Realty and all the other companies I've been fortunate enough to open and to be around. I'm just grateful.
Absolutely. I want to ask you about average. There's a lot of average because we just brought it up. There's a lot of average people in everything. Every industry, there's average dads, there's average moms, there's just average people. You're a professional that helps these people get the best out of them, right? Get them to average to great, because that's what you do. You're a coach, right? What are a couple of things you can tell some people that are listening to this that are maybe in a rut or they're just average at their job that they need to do to be great? What are a couple of things you would...
That's a great question, Cyrus. One of my favorite, I've got so many presentations and I customize them for companies, but my favorite presentation for the last 20 years is how to avoid being average. It really is, because I like topics that people can relate to.
Sure.
And I would hate it if somebody said to me, this is what you should be doing, and I'm not capable. I don't want you to tell me to do stuff that I know I can't do.
Sure.
Well, helping people avoid being average, they have the ability not to be average if they truly don't want to. But in order to avoid being average and just being one of the group, one of the 300 in your field or in your company, if you want to stand out, you first of all need to have a visit with yourself. And I'm not kidding you when I say visit with yourself. Talk in the mirror.
Yeah.
Because the person that's in the mirror looking back at you is the one that's going to make that decision.
Absolutely.
And so I just give my examples are all from experience.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've talked to myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
And this is without 3 or 4 beers in me. But I can't tell you how many times I've talked to myself in the mirror and I'd say, you're a great salesperson.
Wow.
You're a great real estate agent.
Yeah.
You have the ability to make something happen today. Don't come home until you've been productive.
Yeah.
And then I surround myself around positivity. My spiritual person I love listening to is Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
I love listening to Les oh, geez. I always forget it. Les Brown.
Yeah.
I was going to lose it
Yeah.
for there. I love listening to positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
But in order to avoid being average, you can't do what average people
Yes.
do. You know, average people may go on a 2-hour lunch.
Yep.
Average people may leave work early and come to work late.
Mm-hmm.
Average people may return a phone call 2 days after they got it.
Mm-hmm.
Average people are lazy.
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying being average is bad.
Right.
But don't ever complain about where you are in life if you choose to be average.
100%.
So
100%.
I have seen hundreds, and I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of people that have been in my audiences. I've seen them go from average to great.
Yeah.
And you know why they did? It wasn't me. It's because they made a choice to.
100%.
You know, if someone says, this will make me feel like I'm really doing well if I bought this house,
Yeah.
if I bought this car, if I could take my family on vacation.
Right.
Picture all this stuff.
Yep.
Get a picture of what you want and stare at it every day. I believe in manifestation.
Yep.
I am definitely a believer in visualization because so many things have happened to me that I visualized in my head. So to avoid being average, you got to believe in statements like Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich. If you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it.
Ooh.
So what I tell people that don't want to be average is take 5 minutes a day.
Uh-huh.
You got 5 minutes a
Yes.
day. We all do. Tell your kids, do something else, your significant other, anything. Close your eyes, literally for 5 minutes, and picture where you want to be and what that looks like. And then after that 5 minutes are done, then get a pad and get your pen out and write down what you saw.
Wow.
And then you read it every day and you make it where it's in your head. You know,
That's awesome.
I will guarantee your audience that if they do that
Yeah.
and they visualize where they want to be, how can you get to where you want to go if you can't see it?
Yep.
So once you visualize where you want to be, maybe it's with a great significant other.
Yep.
Maybe it's a big house. Maybe it's a great team of
Yep.
people. Maybe you own your own company.
Yep.
Maybe you're the top salesman. I just got to tell you this real quick.
Yeah.
You see, you're getting me excited because I really love this topic about, avoiding being average. When I first got in sales in real estate, I worked for a home builder in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
You got to hear this because it's and I won't ever bring stuff up that people can't do themselves.
Sure.
I'm with a company called Pulte Homes,
Okay.
Pulte, national home builder,
Okay.
all over Dallas-Fort Worth,
Okay.
250 salespeople.
Wow.
It was my second month with them, and they had the all-company awards banquet, black tie. I mean, I'm not used to that stuff. And I'm sitting back at my table, way in the back, and the top producer that won the President's Cup, the highest award, gets up there and gives her speech. That night, I went home, and I stood in front of the mirror, and I gave my acceptance speech for winning the President's Cup next year.
Yes.
And I did it every day. I'd stand there and I would give an acceptance speech. I just started.
Yeah.
And I visualized me standing up there giving that speech.
Wow.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't get to experience that next year. But guess what? The year after that, I'm the top guy.
Yeah.
I won the President's Cup.
Wow.
And I got to go stand up there and give that speech that I've been practicing for 2 years.
Wow.
I visualized it. I saw it in my head. I acted it out. I really believe in it.
That's incredible.
And I could tell you stories and stories of affirmations and things that got to me to where I am and to where I wanted to go because I believed it. It's You can't overthink it.
Yep.
Napoleon Hill summed it all up.
Yep.
If you can conceive it, if you can believe it, you will achieve it.
Wow. That got me goosebumps.
Yeah, it does me too still to this
love
day. Because it's so cool knowing that nobody's better than you.
Yes.
I don't care when I'm in a room with 250 salespeople and these guys are top producers. These other guys aren't any worse than they are. And these guys aren't better than them. It's just that these top salespeople made a choice.
100%.
They made a decision. I want to be the best.
Yep.
But here's the thing. If not now, then when?
Yep.
If you want to be the best at what you do, when are you going to do it? Well, there's a whole lot involved. Hang out with the right people. Be a good person.
Yep.
Treat people like they matter.
Absolutely. I love it. That's my favorite topic.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite topics.
Yeah.
Good to great.
I'm glad you asked me.
That's a good book.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Great book.
Yeah.
You got a lot going on, right? How do you decompress? Everybody needs to. Right? So give me a couple things that you do to. You go home, meditate, whatever that is. Go on vacation. Like, what do you do to get time for yourself? Because everybody needs that.
Well, if you can help me with that,
Yeah.
I'd love it. I'm still working on that.
Good for you.
Because I'm excited. I get excited pretty easy, but so I'm blessed to have good people in my camp.
Okay.
I've got a great gal. I got a great dog. I've never had a dog before, and I got one 3 years ago, and I'm madly in love with this dog.
That's awesome.
Baxter. He even has his own Facebook page. But so I like comedy. I stay away from anything too serious when I'm trying to decompress. So comedy helps me decompress.
That's awesome.
I even try to get into deep breathing, but I need some chill time.
Yeah, absolutely. We're almost out of time. I'd hate to not ask this question, but win the day, right?
Yeah.
So knowing you've got some stuff. So what are a couple of things you do, a morning ritual? What are some things you do that at the end of the day you kind of obviously debrief and you say, okay, that was a good day, or that was not a good day. Tomorrow is going to be better. What are some things you do every day to win the day?
Okay, my typical day would be to start out going to a gym.
Okay.
It can be any type of gym, and people say, gosh, going to a gym at 5 in the morning is pretty crazy. Let me tell you why I go at 5 in the morning.
Yep.
Who's there at 5 in the morning?
Good people.
Movers and shakers.
Good
the
people.
people that are at the gym at 5 in the morning are
Absolutely.
CEOs, leaders,
Yep.
decision makers.
Yep.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I started at a
Good
young
for you.
age going to the gym that early, because I wanted to meet these people.
Yeah.
So I started out my day surrounding myself around people that are making a difference.
That's awesome.
Because I want to be that person. And then I have a regiment to just make sure I'm always on time.
Yeah.
And then I like Brian Tracy, who wrote the book Eat That Frog.
Yep.
I got to sit by him during a speakers conference. We sat there for 2 hours listening to a speaker, and I got to tell him how much I love his books. It was pretty cool. But that's all about getting rid of the negatives right away.
Wow.
So the whole purpose, anything you have that's negative in your life, you need to make a phone call you don't want to.
Yeah.
Get rid of that first.
First thing in the morning.
First thing, get rid of anything negative to leave the day for excitable and all that. But I make a prayer. I pray out loud all the time, and I say, please, God, give me the ability to treat everybody like they're the only person on earth.
Wow.
Give me the ability to make other people feel good. Wow. And I practice that every day.
Nice.
And then
awesome.
I'm not a late night guy, so I start watching, if Tommy Boy or Talladega Nights or Anchorman is on one of the channels, I'm watching. Something real sophisticated.
Absolutely.
And intellectual, but I love comedy, so that helps me decompress the day. But I'm grateful for every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm grateful that we have the ability, and I really believe that we're all on a level playing field some of us work a little harder than others.
Absolutely. Man, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Man.
I could talk to you forever, Cyrus.
Yeah, this would be a 2-3 hour podcast if we had the
Yeah,
time.
I know it.
But hey, I appreciate you, man. That was a lot of fun. A lot of audience in here are going to get some big pointers out of this.
I hope so.
How can people reach you? What can you do for people? What are you doing right now? Give us a little bit about that.
Gosh, I not only speak to large companies like Union Pacific and Aflac and all this. I do small groups. Awesome. If there's several people that say, hey, let's bring Van in for a small group session, I'll do small groups. I coach one-on-one.
Beautiful.
So I pride myself in trying to accommodate anybody that's trying to get from point A to point B. I want to help them.
And how can they reach you?
Best way is to go to vandeeb.com.
Beautiful.
My email is van@vandeeb.com. Real creative. But they can get me through anything at vandeeb.com or Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on all that social media stuff.
Awesome.
So,
hey, you've been super generous to be here. Appreciate you.
I'm a
Thanks
big
for being on
fan
the
of
call.
yours, Cyrus. I
Thank
love
you.
what you're doing, and
Appreciate
people are
that.
saying really good things about you and your company.
I really appreciate it. Thanks, Van.
Thank you.